The Todd Shapiro Show.
Time to hit the button!
On Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
Okay, I believe, do we have our man from healthspace.com, Silas Garrison, on?
Hey, Todd, how you doing?
Man, I'm on pins and needles here as a sports fan. You know, we got Game 6 tonight, and I can't sit still, is the truth.
Yeah, it should be interesting, right?
Yeah, well, it'd be really interesting if we win. It'll be really crappy if we don't. So, you know, I'm just praying for a big victory. I think the entire country needs its nerves calmed right now, and just to be able to relax. You watch any of the NBA finals?
I've been keeping tabs on it. I haven't been able to sit down and watch an entire game through and through, but I definitely like watching the highlights. Man, it's Toronto's to lose, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more, man. And you know, with that being said, I don't think they will. I'm very confident going into the game tonight. I just want it to come already. I just want it to get here. I don't like waiting. I don't have a lot of patience. I really don't. How about you? Do you have patience, Silas?
Oh, patience. Yes, I would like to say that I have it. I definitely don't have enough of it, I'll tell you that.
Is it? Let me ask you, and a very direct and honest question, if you don't mind, because you know we've talked to you before, and we watch HealthSpace and you know all these great contracts and revenue, you know, making company and a lot of really good things on the horizon and stuff. Is it tough to have patience as the CEO of a publicly traded company where you know you look at your stock price and you go, man, I think this should be higher? Is that a tough thing?
You know, it definitely is not easy. And it's one of those things that, yeah, like you said, it requires patience. And as shareholders reach out to me, because I speak to our shareholders quite frequently, the ones that reach out to me, which is quite a few. And, you know, in speaking with our shareholders, you know, I urge patience because it is going to take patience. And the funny thing about being CEO is that the share price, while one of those things that can put you in quite a ringer in terms of, like, you know, consternation, being stressed out or whatnot, that is just one of the many things that, you know, as being CEO, that you have to be patient about. You have to be patient about growth. You have to be patient about team members and getting them up to speed and training. So patience is a key attribute. I definitely have a long way to go, I would probably say, until I reach some sort of attainment of that. But, yeah, patience is key.
Oh, man, good to hear. And how are things going over at healthspace.com?
You know, they're going great, Todd. You know, we just released this past week an announcement about three new contracts we closed across 3 states in the U.S. And really that's just on the heels of some other ones we put out, I think it was a few weeks ago or so. And, you know, we've got a lot of momentum going our way. When we were having conversations now, we're picking up the phone and people are like, oh, yeah, I've been hearing about you, which is really not even been the case for quite some time because we've just been trying to get the word out about our new cloud product. But now that we're making sales at a rapid clip, we're starting to see kind of a momentum effect, a network effect within the agencies we sell to. So I would say that things are going extremely well.
Yeah, I like to hear that, and that makes sense in any sort of business that, you know, the people obviously who originally would take chances or work with you and go, my goodness, this is proven, then more people work with you, and so it's got to be proven, and now people start picking up the phone going, hey, what are you doing so right that everyone's working with you, all these big governments, all these big government contracts, we want to make sure that we're using the best.
Absolutely. No, it works very much like that. You know, in government, there's kind of a saying that, you know, nobody wants to be first. And once we've cleared that hurdle, you know, when we've got big clients under our belts, the state of Florida, Virginia, after you kind of go through that vetting process, everybody gets a little bit more assurance because they know that we were put through our paces in those contracts. And so it just makes it kind of a trick, like a cyclical thing where we can go through it faster and quicker through more deals. And really what you'll see is that the velocity and the volume of our sales cycles is going to greatly increase.
So what were, like, say, 1 or 2 of the actual contracts, and what are you doing for any one of the particular governments that did sign with you?
So let's just take, the state of Virginia. We've got a statewide deployment, hundreds and hundreds of government users who will be utilizing the system on a day in and day out basis. This is for everything from inspections, walking into a restaurant, checking its quality, its health, ensuring that, the employees are, not, washing their hands after using the restroom, all the way back to like billing and invoicing. So when they actually go and, operate a business, you usually get some sort of a bill or taxation fee from the government. Well, our government clients do that as well. And so they transact all that information through our system. It's actually part of the new business strategy that we're unfurling and unveiling this summer, which is our new payment platform, which is a very exciting new development within our core product offerings.
And do you want to remind, I know what that is because we've chatted about that, but do you want to remind people what that is?
Yeah, I'd be glad to, Todd. So we've launched a new platform, and it's currently under development. We've launched elements of it within certain jurisdictions of our clients, but myhealthdepartment.com. And essentially, this is a one-stop shop for businesses, whether you have one location in a single city or you've got 30 across an entire state or multiple states. The idea behind this is that you as a business owner, say a restaurant owner, you can go in, do all of your governmental filings, see your inspections, see your status, see all this legalese, this governmental information, this massive paper flow of information that comes with being regulated by, a state and local agency. All of it's condensed down into a really nice, streamlined, easy-to-use portal. So part of that is you always have, transactions, revenue, payments with government agencies when you operate a business. And so part of the myhealthdepartment.com platform will also be integrating a payment solution that we partnered with PayPal on to deliver a very streamlined payment for the businesses who have to, pay for their yearly licensing fee, whether it's they have one location or 30, it doesn't matter. It'll be simple with a click, and it's perfectly fit for what our clients want because it streamlines the back office work that they have to do. No more paper checks. Business operators want it because they don't have to, go and send a paper check or figure out how much they owe. It's all online. And then for us, it's a new line of revenue because every transaction that flows through the system will be able to share in the profits from that. And it's a perfect blend and a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. And you're right, it is definitely a win-win for everyone. Your solutions, your cloud-based systems. Do you guys have plans or intentions to get more into like privatized markets, not just sort of contracts within governments and stuff?
It's an interesting question. It's something that's been thrown around by a lot of people over the past couple of years, really, because there is the conversations around the data and all that stuff. And really, in short, the answer is sort of. And what I mean by sort of is that myhealthdepartment.com is the new platform that will allow us to be the bridge between the private sector, private enterprise, and government agencies. It is allowing us to have a digital relationship with these businesses as they interact with their governmental information. There are other ways that we can introduce monetization strategies, whether it's, simple checklist apps that we offer the businesses or other services that create a new line of revenue. The opportunities are quite vast. So we are kind of heading in that direction, but in a much different approach than most people would expect.
And are there hiring opportunities at the company as you expand?
Yes, there definitely are. We talk about that on a nearly weekly basis. It's how do you hire? It's all about who you hire, but it's also about how you hire, onboarding and all of those things going into training. So when there's good candidates, we are all ears. Yeah.
As a CEO, here's a good question. Like, how do you go through a hiring process? What what do you look for in individuals other than a resume?
So it comes down to really simple stuff a lot of times. It's communication. We when it comes to like technical developers that we're hiring, we usually put them through a little bit of a quiz, like a solution puzzle that they have to solve. And then what we do is we maybe introduce a couple of gotchas into it intentionally and just see how they handle that and communicate that back with us. So it's kind of a myriad of things, and I don't divulge all of our hiring processes on this call, but it's not just the skill set. We don't. We actually say internally, and this is our policy, we don't hire skill sets, we hire people. And that's the biggest thing. It's about being a culture fit above and above everything else.
Silas Garrison is on the phone with us from healthspace.com. HS is their ticker symbol. And go and check about it, read all about it, and find out if there's good investment opportunities for yourself. Do your due diligence, of course. I can tell you that, in my opinion, it feels as if the stock is very low for what they're doing. And I'll say that wholeheartedly and quite candidly as a shareholder. And Silas, in business is interesting because the sales game, and listen, a lot of my game is doing sales and stuff. You kind of take out clients and you do a little bit of whining and dining, and you get to know them and meet them and stuff. I would imagine that's a little more difficult when you're dealing with government agencies. What's the wooing process for your clients?
The wooing process is quite different. Yes, for instance. We had a user group of a blend of clients we currently have and other agencies that were currently interested in our system. And we put on this big luncheon to demonstrate our software, tell about the company, what have you, a typical sales luncheon, right? Well, at the end of the day, the lunch, everybody requests separate checks. Government was not allowed to receive what would look like a kickback to hear a sales pitch that they may inevitably purchase, because then it would seem as like favoritism. So it's very interesting. It's not traditional wooing. We can't necessarily just give out, big fancy dinners or gifts because that breaks certain laws and regulations. So it is more or less just building a solid relationship. Like you and I, Todd, we've kind of built this really good relationship over the past few months, just getting to know each other and chatting. And it's kind of very similar in our space. You just got to develop these relationships, very conversational, and move forward in that way.
I think I ask you this almost every time we talk, Silas, so forgive me if I do ask again. But, every week in technology, things change, meaning technology advances quicker than really anything else on the planet, and will always do so. And again, I asked you before, but is there new stuff that you're keeping up to that you learned even in the last month since we talked?
Yeah, one of those things that we are really keeping an eye on, and it's not newfangled in any way, but there's always innovations, and it is IoT, or Internet of Things, so connected devices, essentially, where, let's take a thermometer, taking those innovations that continually get adopted and expanded out into private enterprise for monitoring, say, like your refrigerator, making sure that the food you serve is at the right temp. So we're looking at more integrations into those type of things, and it's continually astounding as to the rapid innovation of even just a simple device and how it has changed and how now you can communicate with other devices. It is definitely very interesting and exciting to see. For us, it's great because we get the opportunity to actually toy with and implement these type of things.
And, you're dealing with governments and government contracts and stuff. And it probably doesn't, but, with HealthSpace and stuff, do politics ever get involved? Actual politics, dealing with specific parties or anything in terms of the tech space? Is there any one party that leans towards newer tech and wanting it to be a part of their systems and others?
I wouldn't say that it gets quite that granular, but there are definitely times where politics plays a role. For instance, I won't name specific clients, but there was a change at the governor level that was forthcoming, and there was some. We had this state as a client, and there were some people within the department that were concerned that once this governor took over and in their position, that things would change and they may nix part of the program that our software was falling under. So there's always political elements and undertones. For the most part, that is a little rare because we deal with the health departments, food safety. You gotta have food safety. It doesn't have a political boundary. So there's elements of it, but it's not rampant, I would say.
And Silas Garrison, who's joining us, is there anything you can tell? Shareholders or potential shareholders sort of about, things that you're looking forward to come?
More sales. I mean, simply put, that is the name of the game. Our revenue growth already for this year is up significantly, and we expect another large Q3 and Q4 for this year. So I would say sales growth to accelerate. and have more wins faster. And then the other thing is look for the new payment platform that we are launching sometime late summer as the target. And once we start distributing that out to basically our core demographic, the markets we serve, you'll start to see a new line of revenue being booked at a more rapid clip than just traditional software sales, because it's every transaction that goes through this till will be able to incur some sort of revenue-based transaction from. So lots of stuff to be excited about, and that's just kind of scratching the surface. But sales and payment, the payment platform are the two biggest things that kind of to keep an eye on for us.
When's your next report, or like reporting quarter?
It's upon us. So, we are actually formulating that right now.
Okay. Good to know, Silas Garrison with us. And can you write a program that will guarantee Kawhi Leonard, who's like a robot, will just be programmed to win tonight? Can you do that for us?
I'm doing my best, but it's a pretty short order. You just gave me 2 hours notice.
Have you ever watched Kawhi talk, and have you ever studied this Kawhi Leonard guy at all?
You know what? I can't say that I have, Todd.
Okay, it's so interesting because he's sort of in a very classy way, an emotionless kind of human being. Like he's just born to deliver and born to a focus and have determination. And I like. I mean, it's like as if someone programmed that guy and took, because in the business you do, there's really there's creativity, but there's no emotion involved, right? Like in programs, in actual programs.
Yeah, no, the computer does not care about your emotions. You're very right about that.
Do you think computers ever? Do you think computers will ever be able to think for themselves? You're a programmer. You know everything there is to know.
No, I mean they'll do definitely leaps and bounds, but it's going to be very targeted. AI is powerful. AI is incredibly interesting, but it is always targeted. Meaning, if you have
it's learned patterns. It's not thinking for itself.
Yeah.
And like, are there like, are we reaching a bit of a peak of technology, meaning that like we're not going to see these crazy new advancements I'm sort of seeing that with cell phones, to be honest. I'll dumb it down a little bit. Like, you're not really seeing anything new in the newest releases of cell phones anymore. What you're seeing is a better camera. Is technology reaching a bit of a plateau, do you think?
Well, let me ask you this. When is the last time you upgraded your cell phone?
Yeah, I don't really ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of plateaued. You don't have to, because you're right. What's, one more megapixel, which most people can't even quantify what that even means. And so, what's a little bit better camera? The phones have been pretty much the same for the past 5 years. And I fully agree with you that we've kind of plateaued on that area, and it's going to take some new innovation. Driverless cars, autonomous vehicles is like the next kind of thing that's been trumpeted, but it's really kind of digressed a bit in terms of mainstream attention lately because it's fraught with problems. So, yeah, there's really kind of a ripe for picking new, cool innovation that hasn't really emerged yet in the past couple of years.
Do you feel like everyone should start thinking about electric cars, though, and stuff? And should there be a more move to people trying to, like, just buy Teslas and things like that?
That is a really interesting question because while electric cars are great in many respects, they still have a long way to go in terms of their technology. And the biggest thing about those electric vehicles is their ability to actually store the energy, and that comes down to the battery. So if the battery cannot hold enough energy to actually get you from point A to point B, and point A to point B being a long distance, then they're not that useful to most people. So I would definitely say if you have a use case for it where you're just, popping around town a few miles, few kilometers at a time, that'd be one thing. But the combustion engine is not going away anytime soon, which is kind of an unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Well, people forget, like on a rural basis, like it's not like there's charging stations everywhere you go, like there are gas stations right now. So until that sort of problem solved, it doesn't make it very viable for a lot of people.
Exactly. And you know what? It's a kind of a perception thing too. It's going to kind of take some generational changes, I believe, to see some of these things be adopted en masse, because people are just like, it's kind of like transitioning from the horse and buggy to the Model T. There was a huge gap of comfortability that you had to overcome, and we're kind of going to see that as well here.
I think we should go back to horse and buggies. That'd be awesome, We're saving everything. Okay, man. Well, listen, Silas, I'm really happy for the continued success and continued growth of healthspace.com and the tireless effort that your team is putting into new sales and working very hard to get even more government contracts. And nice to know that they're actually now just coming at you as well to sort of utilize a company that is proving themselves and has been doing so, quite frankly, for many years. Continued success, and I look forward to a catch-up down the road.
Absolutely, Todd. I appreciate it, man.
This is the time where you're supposed to say, "Go Raptors, go!" Silas, come on, man. I'm on pins and needles here.
Hey, I'm torn. I'm still a little bit of a Golden State fan. So
oh no, that's right.
No.
That's fair enough, brother.
You're gonna hang up on me.
No, listen, I actually respect anyone's love of any other sport. And one thing we learned, at least from a hockey culture, is you lose a big series, you do the handshake, you walk away, and it's over. And that's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
We need more people in life thinking like that. We need. Actually, I'm going to talk to our next guest, Dave Portnoy, about that. He did a tweet about where's the online version of the handshake? We don't see that anymore, and I hope we can bring that to the forefront of society. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, brother. This is me shaking your hand right now for your time. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay. Silas Garrison, everyone from healthspace.com. Great little tech chat and company catch-up.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.